Alright, we're discussing 11.2, simplifying algebraic expressions. What I want you to do is go ahead and hit pause and copy this down, and then we'll discuss it a little further. So go ahead and hit pause and copy it down. Alright, it says when you simplify algebraic expressions, you combine like terms. That's what we're going to be doing here today, is combining all the terms that are like. Well, what are like terms? Well, they are, for example, they can be numbers, which would be 5 and 7. You got to remember, you're looking at just this side of the equation, okay, of the expression. This is what it's going to equal. So what's like? Well, the numbers are numbers compared to variables, okay? So that's what we're combining. The numbers are numbers, variables are variables. That's what we'll combine if they have a number with the variable. If they don't, then we combine just the numbers themselves. So in this case, the numbers are by themselves, so we have two numbers by themselves. We can add them together since that's what it says. And so you add those together and you get 12. And then x, there is no other numbers that have the x with it, or no other x's that belong to it, so we leave it just as x. So 12 plus x, and you always carry these signs over with it as well. Now, terms with the same variable, we have this situation, which is just what I have underlined here. Okay, this is the answer to it. So we're going to take 1x, okay, which is, if you look down here, x stands for just 1x, okay? So if you see x, it always represents 1. So this has 2 x's with it. This has 4 x's with it, okay? So we're going to combine all of them that have an x with it. So this stands for 1. This stands for possible 2. So we add those together. That gives us 3 x's. And then we have one over here that has 4 x's. Okay, so 3 x's plus 4 more x's gives us a total of 7 x's. And 3, there's no number that's by itself alone, so we leave it as a 3. Okay, that is your answers to these problems, what I have circled here. That is combining like terms. Okay, so let's look at a few and do some of these. What I'm going to have you do is go ahead and hit pause and try this out on your own. So go ahead and hit pause and see if we can get the same answer. Alright, in this situation we have some parentheses on here. Now parentheses are just saying you got to add these together first. You could also write this as 7 plus 8 plus x. It's giving me the exact same thing. Okay, so like terms, we're going to add the numbers that are by themselves together, which gives me 15, plus we have no other x's that are involved here except this one, so it is 15 plus x. Go ahead and check your answer and see if you have the same. Let's try the next one. Go ahead and hit pause and try my like terms for this. Alright. Now, since we are multiplying these numbers or variables together, we have to make certain that when we combine them, that we are multiplying them. Okay? So, what do we have left here? We have just 1x, so we're going to leave the x by itself, times my numbers, which are 3 and an 11, which 3 times 11 gives me 33. So that's my answer, x times 33. Go ahead and hit pause and try this. Now, this makes it a little more difficult. It does say that there are 3 x's, okay? And you say, well, what do I have to combine? It would just stay 9 times 3x, okay? Well, in this case, you could leave it this way, okay? But it is still not combining them because it is multiplying them together. Okay, if you look back at this particular problem, you can leave it x times 33, or you could also write this as 33x, okay, which means the exact same thing as what we have written above here, where it's x times 33 or 33 times x, it's exactly the same, but we don't always put the sign in between them. Okay? Same thing with putting a parenthesis around it. It doesn't always necessarily mean that it's just by itself. It means you're combining those. You can multiply that together. So let's look back at this. This actually, 9 against these parentheses, means to multiply. Okay? So to combine these, since it is multiplication, you would actually end up with 9 times 3, which is 27x, which would be times x. Okay? This is the one that confuses a lot of students because you say, well, this doesn't have a variable with it. How can I combine it with this? Multiplication, you can combine with the numbers with the variable. Now when we're adding, we are not. You leave the variable by itself, as we did back here on this problem. We left it. Okay, it's not 15 times x or 15x. We leave it 15 plus the x. We put that operation between it. Where on these, we can just leave a parenthesis between them or multiply them as we did here. In this case, we have to combine these two numbers to get that 27x, because there's going to be 27 of them. Okay? Go ahead and solve this. Now again, we've got how many x's? 5 x's. 1x, so we're going to combine those. This represents 1x, so we end up with 6x. Okay? Which actually means 6 times x. Remember, anytime you have a number next to a variable with no sign between it, or if you have, for example, 5 and then parentheses like this, that means 5 times 6. Same thing here. Okay, it's the exact same thing here, except we used an x in its place, which means the exact same thing. 5x, it means 5 times x. So we combine them, so now our answer is 6x. Go ahead and hit pause and solve this. Alright, we have, since we're adding, we can combine what's like terms, first of all, which is 4x plus 2x, total of 6x. Then we're going to add my lone 7 by itself. We'll leave it out there. There's no other terms to combine that with. Okay? So 6x plus 7 is my answer. And we'll try one more. Go ahead and try to solve this. Since we have x by itself, that again represents 1. And my 3x, that represents obviously 3 x's. We combine my x's, so I get a total of 4x, and then plus my 1, that is all by itself. Okay. Go ahead and take any notes with this. We'll discuss it further tomorrow. And it's a tough concept to understand. I absolutely understand. It's very abstract. A lot of question. You know, what the variables represent and so forth. It takes just some time and repetitive practice and digging deeper and working with some of the equations to help understand some of this. So don't get too frustrated with it. Ask lots of questions and we'll work through it. So just know that I do understand that it is a little more difficult topic to discuss. Okay? So have a good night, and we'll talk about it more tomorrow.